Breaking overnight, a stolen ambulance, a high-speed chase, riding on rims, and a wild ending.
Breaking right now, a landmark summit at the Vatican.
The church sex abuse scandal in the spotlight.
The Pope demanding action overnight.
Grab the umbrella. We're preparing you for a wet day today, your hour-by-hour forecast.
You've probably heard of a weighted blanket, right? Well, this one has a cooling feature too. So is it worth it? We'll find out at 6:15.
It's the best time of year in H-Town. I'm taking you to Rodeo Houston, and we've got a big surprise coming your way later this hour. Live from the KHOU 11 studios, H-Town Rush starts right now.
Yes, it does at 6 o'clock here. Let's lower the voting age. What do you think? Oregon wants to let 16-year-olds cast a ballot. That's a proposal there anyway. We're asking this morning, should Texas consider the same thing?
Let us know what you think in our live survey. Head to our website or use our mobile app to vote right now. An overwhelming percentage of you taking the survey say no.
Look at that push, though. We were at 98.
We were at 98.
Now we're down to 97%.
Yes.
No.
Some 15-year-olds are joining us this morning, and they're saying
I want to vote.
Right.
Come on. Brandy's going to have more on that proposal coming up here in just a few minutes. Right now, though, let's get over to Cheetah to start our rush block. The rain is back.
Yes, the rain is back, and it's actually going to stay in place all day today. So umbrellas and jackets needed out the door first thing for your Thursday morning commute. And take a look. Some of the rain, it's starting to pick up speed here, especially along portions of southern Harris County, the Gulf Freeway. The storms that I was tracking north of town, well, you know what? They have already pushed out of here. Check it out. Santa Fe, League City, Kemah, Seabrook. If you're waking up near Galveston this morning, you are seeing some light to moderate showers. Baytown, LaPorte, Shore Acres, eastern side from Deer Park to Channelview, you're starting to see some of that wet weather pick up. Rain chances remain in place, but on and off activity with peaks of that sunshine by the afternoon. Doug, we remain in the 50s though all throughout your Thursday.
Okay, thanks a lot, Cheetah, for your rush block traffic. Yes, Steph is out on the road right now. She's heading to a surprise destination. We'll talk about that just in a little bit. Take a look at your traffic maps this morning, though. Yes, southeast side, the roads are a little slick. Even on the west side, though, the rain moved through earlier. It's a little damp about that location as well. The only thing we have working right now is actually a stalled vehicle 290 heading eastbound or inbound at Spring Cypress. Live look from Houston TransStar shows us that it actually just cleared out of the way, but you can see those roads are damp. Give yourself a little extra time. Lisa, Russ?
Thank you, Doug.
Breaking overnight, a patient steals an ambulance from the Kingwood Hospital and then leads police on a chase.
It ended just about 2 hours ago. Michelle Choi is live in Crosby with how officers finally caught him. Michelle?
Guys, this is one wild and bizarre story. Now, this is the spot where that ambulance finally came to a stop here along Moose and Antelope Drive. But the guy who allegedly stole it put up quite a fight before being taken into custody. Take a look. Here he is cuffed. You can see officers struggling to put him back on a stretcher. He led police on that chase for about an hour. Spike strips were deployed, and officials say at one point the guy even communicated with them using the radio inside. Now, how did all this start? Well, police were called when this man was spotted in the same neighborhood causing a ruckus and tearing up people's mailboxes a few hours earlier. He was taken to Kingwood Medical Center, and that's when he jumped out of a stretcher and took off in the same ambulance that had brought him. And as I mentioned, guys, the crazy part is he came back to that same neighborhood where it all began, even briefly rolling down the window to say hello to one of the neighbors.
He poked his head out and said, "Praise Jesus, brother." He went to do a fist bump, and I did a handshake, and he grabbed my hand, and I went to grab it to kind of hold on to him, and he slipped out of my hand.
Now, neighbors say they've actually never seen this guy around here before, but this morning he is back at Kingwood Medical Center. We asked officials what might have caused his bizarre behavior. They couldn't tell us other than saying that he was in an altered state, but they're just glad that no one was hurt during this wild chase. Guys?
All right, Michelle Choi, thank you. Breaking news now into our rush block. Actor Jussie Smollett has turned himself in to Chicago police. He is charged with filing a false police report. Smollett is maintaining his story, though, that two masked men attacked him and yelled racial and homophobic slurs. He hasn't changed the story there, but Two Brothers police questions say that Smollett paid them to fake the attack.
It's 4 minutes after breaking news from overseas this morning. Pope Francis demanding action over sex abuse in the Catholic Church. Right now, bishops are meeting at the Vatican, and the Pope opened that 4-day summit earlier today. He warned bishops that condemning the crimes is not enough. They have a responsibility, he says, to listen to the cries for justice.
Your Rush Block continues with the day's other big stories, starting with 2 bystanders shot in the middle of a gunfight. One of those victims, an 18-year-old, did not survive. The other was taken to the hospital and is expected to recover. This happened off Dunlap Street in southwest Houston. Police haven't said what led to that shooting, but the 2 victims were not involved. A Coast Guard officer arrested after police found a hit list of Democratic politicians in his Maryland home.
Prosecutors say Christopher Hassan is a domestic terrorist who had an apartment full of guns and that he allegedly wrote he was dreaming of a way to kill almost every last person on Earth.
His alleged targets included Houston Representative Sheila Jackson Lee and former Congressman Beto O'Rourke. Winter weather from North Dakota to New England. The storm has canceled thousands of flights with more snow on the way.
Fake news teaches Klein Oak High School students an important lesson. One of them wrote a fake news story about an administrator and it went viral. Turns out it was all part of a digital citizenship assignment. But Klein ISD says he or she went too far and people who shared it on social media might have construed it as factual.
And that is your Rush Block. Today's big headlines from here in Houston and around the world. Let us know what's happening in your neighborhood. Tweet us with the hashtag HTownRush.
Right now, it's 6 minutes after 6, and a proposed law in Oregon has really set off a debate on social media this morning about when are you old enough to vote.
The bill would let 16-year-olds vote in state elections. Brandy's here with your take on this. Brandy?
Guys, take a look at the text for Senate Joint Resolution 22. The key here is the change from 18 to 16. If the legislature okays it, voters will get their say in a statewide election later. Now, Oregon isn't the first state with this idea. Since 2003, 13 others introduced bills to lower the voting age. None of those passed, though. So we want to know what you think. Would you support lowering the voting age in Texas? You can vote yes or no on KHOU.com/vote now or on our mobile app. Reaction to on social media ranges from calling it odd to a mistake to just stupid. Jim doubts that it's going to get much traction with voters, and James points out that they can't make their own choices on tobacco, but they're smart enough to decide who to elect. Now, Brittany thinks it's a good idea. She asks, since their future is being decided, why shouldn't they have a say in it? And Monica would just like to make it easier for adults to vote with more polling stations, maybe a paid day off to vote. She says, just let the kids enjoy being kids. We were having this discussion earlier. I think there are some 16-year-olds who would do the research, who have the maturity to vote. Like my 13-year-old, I would totally trust her with that decision making. My 12-year-old, when she turns 16, probably not.
I have a 16-year-old. I interact with a lot of other 16-year-olds because I have one. They're good, smart kids. I don't think I would love a survey of 16-year-olds. Do you want the right to vote at 16? I bet the majority would say, nah, I can wait. And
part of what spurred this bill being introduced was a rally by high school age kids in Salem who want that opportunity to weigh in.
Wow. Just something else to look forward to at 18. That's what I'd say.
Yes.
Take the mom approach.
Hey, you got the rest of your life.
There you go.
Let's send it over to Cheetah right now. Thanks, Brandy, for the one thing you need to know.
All right, the one thing you need to know today in weather, we are going to continue to see on and off rain throughout the day today. Grab the umbrella so it's a wet start to the day, and we will end the same way, Doug.
Okay, thank you, Cheetah. And the one thing you need to know in traffic, Highway 288. This is a live look from Houston TransStar. You can see a near standstill. That's because of ongoing construction slowing you northbound and southbound at South Fork Drive. The good news is if you're coming into town from Broadway in Pearland, that's only going to take you 18 minutes right now on 288, guys.
Thanks, Doug.
Is there science that explains why you love a particular shopping experience?
Yeah, it turns out there might be a deeper reason why people love Trader Joe's. Our Marcelino Benito is connecting the dots.
Trader Joe's once again tops the list of customer preference, and one reason why may be the lack of choices. Let's connect the dots. Trader Joe's beat out Costco, Sprouts, and H-E-B in this year's survey, and a psychologist who studies how people make decisions says the store's limited selection is probably why. Barry Schwartz says the more choices we have, the worse off humans are. That's because we become paralyzed by all the possibilities. He says a normal supermarket could have close to 150 different pasta sauces, while Trader Joe's has less than 15. With fewer choices, it's easier for shoppers to make their pick, creating a less stressful shopping experience. By the way, this is probably just a happy coincidence. Schwartz says Trader Joe's probably has limited selection as a way to control cost. So for all those Trader Joe's fans out there, happy shopping, but good luck finding a parking space. Connecting the dots, I'm Marcelino Benito for H-Town Rush.
Yes, parking not always the best at Traders. It's so popular and it fills up quick.
But less is more when you get into the aisles, apparently.
Apparently so.
I learned something this morning. Okay, 9 minutes after 6 this morning. Bundle up to calm down or get a better night's sleep. What do you think? We've heard a lot of hype about weighted blankets. So we're going to test one out this morning to see if it's worth it.
We know the old wives' tale about ways to stay healthy, but for women, curing loneliness could protect you from the common cold.
On our way to the rodeo grounds right now for a very surprise mission for you. Make sure you stay tuned at 6:45 right here on H-Town Rush.